Hey everybody, this story just came out today on ancientorigins.net, and I thought this was a good one for me to share. This is written by April Holloway, and it is entitled The Top 10 Ancient Egyptian Discoveries of 2014. And I hope I can get through this. I'm really struggling this morning. I've only had one cup of coffee so far, and I am failing on this, but hopefully I can get through this time. It says, throughout the year, we reported on more than 50 incredible archaeological discoveries in Egypt, challenging the long-held view that there is nothing of significance left to dig up in the desert sands. On the contrary, this year's findings have shown that there is plenty to discover, and each finding has shed a new light on the great civilization of ancient Egypt. And here we feature the top 10 discoveries. Excuse me. Number 10, 3,400-year-old underwater temple from the era of Thutmose III discovered near Cairo. It says the Minister of Antiquities in Egypt announced the discovery of an ancient Egyptian temple near Cairo from the time of Pharaoh Thutmose III. The ancient temple was found beneath a house submerged under groundwater by a group of looters who used diving equipment to explore the 9-meter-deep ruins. Columns, tablets, and a statue of a seated person made of pink granite were unearthed. Skipping ahead, and in case you want to read these in full, I'm going to leave the link below. Number 9, ancient Egyptian codex deciphered revealing 1,300-year-old spells and invocations. It says an ancient Egyptian codex written in Coptic and dating back 1,300 years was deciphered for the first time, revealing that the 20-page book made of parchment contains a series of spells and invocations, including spells to counter evil possession. That's pretty interesting. Going ahead here, number 8. 3,300-year-old Egyptian woman with hair extensions discovered in Amarna. Archaeologists carrying out excavations at Tel El Amarna in Egypt, the capital city built by Pharaoh Akhenaten in 1330 BC, found a number of human remains containing well-preserved elaborate hairstyles, including hair extensions and dyed hair. One of the most interesting sets of human remains belonged to a woman who wore a complex style with more than 70 extensions fastened in different layers. Going on to number 7. Surprise finding as ancient Egyptian sarcophagus is found in Israel. Archaeologists made a rare and unexpected discovery during a natural gas pipeline salvage excavation in the Jezreel Valley, Israel, when they came across a 3,300-year-old Egyptian sarcophagus complete with human remains and numerous grave goods. And this really shouldn't be surprising. This dates back to the 18th dynasty in Egypt, when Egypt's territory was very wide-ranging, and pharaohs such as Amenhotep III, who was the biblical Solomon, they were building as far up as Jerusalem, and I have theorized that he was building as far up as Baalbek. But anyway, going on here to number 6. It says archaeologists find Egyptian mummy with peculiar skull containing brain imprint. Archaeologists announced a puzzling mystery surrounding the discovery of a 2,000-year-old Egyptian mummy whose skull contains imprints left by the brain. The cranium shows the blood vessels that surround the brain within a membrane known as the meninges, and scientists are now trying to piece together the exact process that could have caused such fragile structures to become imprinted into the hard bone of the skull. And there you see it. And skipping ahead here. Number 5. More than 50 royal Egyptian mummies unearthed in the Valley of the Kings. Archaeologists uncovered a massive tomb on the west bank of the Nile containing more than 50 royal Egyptians, including 4 princes, 8 previously unknown princesses, and a number of infants. The 3,300-year-old tomb was discovered when researchers investigated a depression in the ground and came across a 5-meter-long shaft, a corridor, and 4 rooms which had been trashed and plundered in antiquity. And these tombs were of the family of Thutmose IV and Amenhotep III, who were father and son, and I believe the biblical Moses and Solomon. Going on here. Number 4, researchers suggest Tutankhamun died from a genetic weakness caused by family inbreeding. And if you know Egyptian history, this is the one of more strange or disturbing stories from ancient Egypt, is that the pharaohs sometimes married their sisters. And this obviously caused problems as far as reproducing. It says in November 2013, scientists announced that they had finally solved the mystery of King Tutankhamun's death after 3,300 years. The boy king, they claim, died after being struck by a speeding chariot. However, a new virtual autopsy of the world-famous pharaoh revealed that the serious genetic physical impairments would have made riding a chariot impossible. The result instead suggests that Tutankhamun, the 11th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, succumbed to genetic impairments that were caused by the fact that his parents were brother and sister. And that was Akhenaten and Nefertiti. They were his parents, I believe. That's a little disturbing. But anyway, going on. Number 3. It says, new pharaoh discovered in Egypt, introducing King Seneb-K. And this is his royal cartouche that was discovered, the royal emblem of the pharaoh. It says in January 2014, archaeologists in Egypt discovered the burial place and remains of a previously unknown pharaoh who reigned for more than 3,600 years ago. The skeleton of King Seneb-K were uncovered at South Abydos, about 500 kilometers south of Cairo, by a University of Pennsylvania expedition working with the government. And going on here, number 2, pre-dynastic tomb and mummy uncovered in Egypt dating back an incredible 5,600 years. It says, archaeologists in Egypt found an extremely rare tomb containing a preserved mummy and numerous artifacts which date back to a period which predates the first pharaonic dynasty. The pre-dynastic period of ancient Egypt prior to 3100 BC is traditionally the period between the early Neolithic and the beginning of the pharaonic monarchy, beginning with the rule of King Narmer. And I believe Egyptian history, with more discoveries, is going to get pushed back even farther and farther. Number 1. The new discovery shows Egyptians experimented with mummification 6,500 years ago. And it says, a study published in the journal of PLOS ONE revealed the discovery of burial wrappings soaked in embalming agents at a Neolithic grave in Upper Egypt, which shows that ancient Egyptians were experimenting with or practicing mummification at least 1,500 years earlier than previously suggested. And once again, I'm going to leave the link for this article below. But I believe over the next months and years, with technology being better, searching underneath the sands of Egypt, more and more incredible ancient discoveries are going to get made there, maybe some very important ones. But I just found this article very cool, interesting. Hope you enjoyed it, and you have a nice Saturday.